Next, we're going to be talking about not only the timeline of the real estate transaction for a lease or a purchase, but also who the key players are in that process and what their roles are. So first, like I mentioned before, you need to have a good dental-specific tenant buyer real estate agent, somebody who just focuses on representing you and making sure you are taken care of during that process, making sure you're getting the best deal. Next, you want to make sure that you've got a lender who understands the dental space and what's unique to your build out, your timeline, what you need for a startup, what your equipment lending needs are, what your technology and marketing and operating capital looks like, and what you're going to really need for that startup or that relocation. You want a lender who's not just done one dental deal in their career, but somebody who specializes or somebody who's done a lot of dental or healthcare lending. You want somebody who's a good real estate attorney. This is not my cousin Eddie, who's a family law attorney up in Seattle. I don't actually have cousin Eddie. But it is somebody who lives and breathes real estate on the legal side. And so they're looking at leases every day. They're looking at purchase agreements. They're going through due diligence and all that kind of stuff. So it's somebody who is specific to the real estate side. It'd be even better if you could find a dental specific real estate attorney. Many markets have those, and there are a number of national firms that also have those, but somebody who knows what to look out for you on looking at a dental lease. You want to make sure that you've got your CPA tied in. Because they're going to want to make sure that everything is set up on the entity side, and that we're looking at making sure that the business side and the economics of everything we're looking at makes sense. So you want to make sure your CPA is tied in. And again, I'd suggest you have somebody with some dental background on the CPA side. A good financial planner, somebody who can help you not just think about the decisions for today, but the decisions for next year and the next couple of decades. If you're a startup, you might be thinking, well, I don't have any money to put into my retirement right now, especially if I'm going to have the costs of acquiring a practice or starting up a practice. But right now is the perfect time to start talking and start setting up some of those habits with a good financial planner. And there are some great some great financial planners that have a ton of dental experience that you can connect yourself with. An architect, that's somebody you're going to definitely need to be in the mix with as you're looking through this real estate process, because you find a space that might be a vanilla shell, 2,000 square foot vanilla shell. That just means a big open blank canvas. Well, what are you going to do with that space? And do you want 4 ops or 5 or 6 or what do you have any specific needs that go along with your vision for the practice? And so you want an architect to be able to help design and lay that out. Who is your equipment and technology partner? You're going to want to make sure you're partnered up with somebody who can help walk you through what kind of equipment you should be looking at, what kind of technology you should be looking at, because that will definitely affect the design of your practice, the way your operatories lay out, the needs for electric, the needs for HVAC. If you've got a lot of heat generating equipment, you're going to need greater air conditioning units or greater ability for that. Well, that's something we could negotiate in that lease to get the landlord to cover, right? So you're kind of seeing how all these different people play together and need to be talking to each other through this transaction. And then finally, your contractor. So this is somebody, the person who's actually going to be swinging the hammer and building and constructing what you have been envisioning for the last number of months or years. And so this team, this is really your A team. And these are the people that are going to be walking through this transaction with you over the next number of months. Now let's kind of talk through the appropriate timeline of a lease and a purchase. And this is really important because you want to have, this plays right into our negotiation strategy and having the right posture. Again, I said it in one of the last videos, if you don't have the right time and the landlord knows you can't make a move, then you've got no leverage. You've got no posture. We have no ability for you to really be able to get the concessions that might be available to you if we had the right timeline. So let's talk through an appropriate time frame for like a new lease. Maybe you're a startup, or you might have one office, you want to buy another, or you want to look at opening another office. For a new lease, we need about 9 to 12 months. And that's going to be everything from the time we start touring and looking at properties to the time you're actually open, somewhere in that 9 to 12 month frame. If you're looking at purchasing a building, again, you need about 9 to 12 months because you're going to have not only the time for searching and negotiating, but you're going to have a block of time where you're going to need to go through due diligence and you're going to be walking through with an inspector, maybe a survey, or maybe an environmental company that's going to test and make sure that the soil's all good, that everything's ready for you to buy. So that process can easily take 60 to 90 days or even longer. So if you're buying a building, 9 to 12 months is what you need. If you're looking at a lease renewal, the best time is around 12 months. We've helped clients that were on a month-to-month lease. We've helped them with their lease renewal and gotten them better terms. We've also helped clients that had 3 or 4 years left on their lease, and they were just really needing some help with their lease renewal. So the best time frame is around 1 to 2 years out, but even if you're month to month or you've got a little less time or even more time, still, a lot of times if you talk with the right agent, you can get some help on that lease renewal. If you're looking at land, this is one of the longest processes. If you're looking at maybe constructing your own building and you've got to buy a piece of dirt, that process with the city and the zoning and the development committees, and you might need to get traffic analysis and environmental studies done, and all this going through permitting and all that kind of stuff, that process can easily take anywhere between 18 to 24 months from the time that you initially talk with your agent to the time that you open up. That can easily take 18 to 24 months. It's also one of the costliest endeavors in terms of all the real estate transactions. And then the last one would be if you're acquiring a practice. You might be looking at a practice that we don't do any practice valuations. Your real estate agent likely isn't doing that. You might have a CPA or somebody, a consultant who's helping you value that practice and make sure that everything looks good on that side. But for the real estate component, we're going to need somewhere between 30 to 60 days to be able to get that lease assigned over to you and renegotiate those terms, or to get that building put over in your name and to get that building to close on the same day that you're buying that practice. And so to recap, it's important not only to assemble the right team and have all the right players around you and communicating with each other, but it's also important for you to have the right timeline so that you can have the right strategy, the right posture in that negotiation, and to maximize your savings and to help maximize your profitability when it comes to real estate. In closing, I really hope you found these videos to be helpful and educational, and that you got some good information as you're thinking through your real estate and your options when it comes to real estate and how dramatically it can impact your practice. It's been a pleasure and an honor.